Hello friends, welcome to the second session on cloud migration. Hope you have seen my first session which explained about the on-premise and cloud infrastructure difference. If you have not seen, please check the link in the comments below and please do visit because that will help you understand the difference between cloud and on-premises. In today's session, we are going to talk about app migration strategy, how to identify the apps and how to plan the cloud journey for those apps. So let's begin with. You may have seen this screen if you have seen previous video, but this picture is representing a region in a cloud. So you may be wondering what is a region. So basically, as I mentioned, that the cloud provider is a third party now and they are operating in a multi-tenancy model. So they have created the data centers across the world, right? They have in Europe, they have in Americas, they have in Asia, India, Australia. So their data centers are available across the globes and it has been divided into multiple regions. Right? One data center which has that failover mechanism. So let me come back. So every region also has zones, right? So one region will have at least 2 to 3 zones which will help them in case of zonal failures, because they are serving as a third party for providing IT services. It is imperative that they provide high availability for the resources and able to sustain smaller or even larger failures. Right? For that, every region by every cloud provider contains at least 3 to 4 zones. General is 3 zones, but some regions which are which have heavy usage, and also there are some regulatory requirements to have very high availabilities. They also come with 4 zones as well, right? So as I said, these regions are spread across different continents. So largest number of regions you will find in Europe and Americas, and in total 30 plus regions are there, minimum on each major cloud provider. The 3 cloud providers that we are talking about: Amazon, Microsoft Azure and GCP. And considering these 30 plus zones, they will have hundreds of 30 plus regions, they will have 100 plus zones, right? At least 3. So 100 plus zones are there to place your resources, right? These zones within a region are having different power and network resources, right? So that if one fails, there is redundant supply and resources available for the second zone, and they are connected via a very high speed low latency network. So if you fail over, it will be almost seamless, right? For example, in India, Mumbai is a region, right? Within Mumbai region, there will be 3 zones. In US, Virginia is a region, US East it is called, and then those regions are divided among zones like Zone A, Zone B and Zone C. Now when you take a subscription to cloud, right, so first thing you need to think is where you will place your resources, right? So it depends on the geography of your users. So suppose your users are in India and you take subscription for a region, or you place your resources in a region which is in US, you see there is a large distance that your request have to travel, right? So there will be a data latency, right? So if you want high speed or low latency highly responsive application, you should place your application which is nearest to the users. So the region should be nearest to the users, like for India users it should be Mumbai or Chennai, or for Australia users you should choose somewhere Sydney, right, Melbourne. For Europe you should choose the nearest regions which support your user base. Obviously for global applications there will be multi-regional setup, and that we will discuss when we discuss about the resiliency of the application and high availability of the applications. Okay, so for now let's consider that based on the user's geography we should choose the subscription or a region in a cloud where to host our resources. One also thing need to be careful while choosing the region, that all the features are not available in all the regions. Some kind of databases like for Google Cloud Spanner may not be available in a particular region for time being, right? And if you want to use that, you will have to choose another region. So if you need a specific feature which is not available and that is mandatory to use, then obviously that will also impact the choice of your regions. So here you can see I have tried to show the example. So this is my AWS login. Here I have chosen the region as North Virginia, right? This is East US. So in this region there will be multiple zones, and I consider that I will be hosting my applications here. So the users which are who are located in North America, they will find it the application is very fast and responsive. Okay, so that is one choice that you have to make when you decide to go to cloud, that which region you want to host your data center in a particular cloud. Now moving to next, now you have decided to move to cloud and you have also chosen that you want to keep your resources in a particular region. Now what, right? So you still have a lot of things to think about, where to start, right? Shall I may have hundreds of applications in my data center. Shall I migrate all at once? What is my budget at the moment, right? Because IT spending is mostly to support the business. So sometimes you may have budget or sometimes you may be low on budget. So what is my budget that I can afford, and what benefits I want from cloud, because this will help you deciding the services of cloud that you want to use, right? So every service comes with its pros and cons. So what is you are expecting, right? What you want to achieve from cloud, whether it's a high availability, right, or serverless feature, low maintenance, right? So accordingly you have to think what is your motivation to go to cloud, right? Then now where to start, which application to migrate first, right? And can I migrate the way the applications are right now used, or does it require any modification in those applications before they can be deployed on cloud, or do I still need this application, right? So whether some of the applications which may be old enough, some are not supported on cloud, so we need to rethink that those applications whether they are still required for business or not, because maintaining old applications which are out of date and not used, that is additional cost with not significant business benefit in response, right? So there are these are some of the questions, not full comprehensive list, but some of the questions that we need to ask when we are starting to migrate to cloud, right? Okay, now to answer those questions, how and where to start for cloud migration, this is some hint how we should take an approach. So every enterprise, I'm talking about the large enterprises, so we'll have these kind of applications like SAP ERP application for managing enterprise resources, SAP Oracle apps, they run on a specialized machine, they run on a specialized kind of a software, right? Then there is mainframes heavily used by banks across the globe. So mainframes obviously they run on ZOS, so they also need a specific hardware provided by IBM. So how to what approach to be taken for that? So these applications, mainframes are still not that easy to migrate. There has to be refactoring. You need to rethink whether you really want your mainframe to application to go on cloud. So you can keep core on still on mainframes while you can refactor some of the applications, bring it to modern technologies, lightweight technologies, and move it to cloud on Kubernetes or something like. SAP also comes up with S4 HANA, and they are quickly evolving. But if you have to move SAP to cloud, you will have to think from the infrastructure as a service perspective, where you can use the specific VMs which can support SAP software, and that then you can migrate. So these are slightly challenging migrations and not very often seen, but now technology is evolving, and we are finding solutions for migrating these applications. Now, third kind of applications that you will find is other COTS applications. These are also COTS, specific software, but other COTS applications, smaller softwares, but these are also commercial off the shelf product, where you have dependency on a third party or a vendor to provide the code base or archive to run that particular executable file, right? So you don't have full control on this technology, and there is some dependency on operating system or a particular software which may or may not be supported on cloud. So you have to think about other COTS applications as well. So here also most of the time we find that the useful hosting environment on cloud comes to virtual machines, right? And then this kind of application which are custom in-house developed apps, which are either developed on Java, Python, .NET, Node.js, React, or Golang. All those custom applications, they are the best suited candidates that can be immediately migrated. There are a variety of options, hosting options on cloud. You can choose VM, you can choose Kubernetes, right? And then you can choose serverless options. So these are the major chunk which we are seeing when we start migrating to cloud. This is the best and suitable candidate to immediately move. And hosting platform you have to choose depending on what is your requirement for those applications, right? And what is your maturity level for the organization also to handle these resources, because cloud management requires different kind of skills than managing the on-premise data centers now. Then there will be applications which are Windows based. So you need to think that you will have to keep on the Windows OS. So either you go on the Windows OS VMs, or if you want to containerize, you can use the Windows containers which are now used and available, right? Then Linux supported. This is usual case. Most popular server platform is Linux. And then mobile application, you will be thinking what it is doing here. So yes, you are right, mobile applications will be deployed on mobile, but their respective backend APIs, they can still migrate to cloud. Then data and AI, right? This you will have to again revisit, right? Because you may have sensitive data which are controlled by GDPR. So there are some regulatory requirements or government requirements which want the data that there has to be a control where you can host data, where you can process data. So as you have regions, right? So which region you can process that data, that is governed by regulators. So your choice will depend on type of data. And also some of the databases like Oracle is not very readily supported in all of the clouds. So you have to think of migrating from Oracle to Postgres or MySQL if you want to use RDBMS, right? Or you can go with specialized Oracle hardwares, where some of the cloud providers have kind of a co-location facility where within those data centers Oracle hardware or racks are available. Then other type of applications are integration layers. So integration layers, what are these? So these are middleware applications which kind of async applications integration, right? You may find multiple components here. It could be API gateway, right? It could be Kafka, MQ, right? So there are multiple integration platforms which you could find, but these are all, since these are modern technologies, kind of breaking into service oriented architecture rather than monolithic, and suitable for more secure and highly scalable architecture. So most of the time these integration layers are supported on the cloud. You may find some software which are specific for integration to mainframes and all. There may be some challenges, but largely 90 to 95% you will find that all the integration layer components as of today are supported on all the major cloud providers, right? And then you may have other applications as well, C, C++ and all. So you will have to think about all those applications. What are the suitable hosting services available on cloud? What is the driver for migrating those applications to cloud? Whether you want to migrate as it is to virtual machines, you want to refactor them, re-architect them. So this decision has to be made, and then you can come how your journey of the application should be, right? Whether you want to rehost, so rehost means VM, replatform could be different OS, different web server, right? Or a different kind of Kubernetes you want to containerize. Re-architect means complete rewrite, correct? So you will you will have to redesign the entire application, including your model, view, controller, all the layers, right? You will have to. And then retire is one component. One question I asked, right, whether we really need this application or not. Accordingly, we can choose whether to retire that application and look for some alternative, right? Or it could be another COTS application or something. So this is again one of the call that we need to make. If that application is no more required, we can retire and bring down those server costs and all. So once you do this evaluation exercise, so this is largely an assessment, right? So once you do this assessment of the applications that are available in your enterprise, you will finally know that how you want to migrate those applications to cloud, right? This is where you want to reach to. This will help you plan your cloud migration. Okay. This is called disposition analysis, right? Application disposition analysis, and accordingly you plan your cloud infrastructure. Okay. Moving to next. So now you have identified cloud, you have identified region, you have identified applications, you have identified the target hosting platform, whether you will go to VM or K8s. Now you have to start migration, right? So one thumb rule is that you always do it step by step, right? Never do it in one go, because cloud is one slightly new tech, and you don't want to disrupt your business, right? So you want no disruption to your running application. You want to keep running, right? So there will be changes, the way applications behave on cloud. There will be some time taken where it takes time to stabilize. There could be some performance challenges, right? Once it goes away from your data center to a third party and traffic travels via internet. So it is always a best practice to take phase wise approach, right? Start small. So in phase one, you start small, right? Slow and small. Follow agile practices, iterative process, keep learning, right? Learn, improvise and optimize. Use the latest tools available for automation and expedition. So you use GitOps like Argo CD for deployment to Kubernetes. You can use DevOps CI/CD pipelines for automating your build and deployment. So use the best practices, learn from each phase and apply into next phase gradually, and apply FinOps. So this is for managing cloud cost. So the problem with cloud cost is because now you have ease of creating resources, you have to manage those resources. So what happens most of the time that you may not be knowing some of the servers which you created for a POC are running for longer time than needed. So that's not coming for free, that is chargeable, right? So you need to continuously monitor your resources, keep track what is the usage of those resources, keep scaling up and down, right? Optimal scaling, optimal resources, right? So this will help you control the cost. Otherwise cloud cost may continuously spiral up at a very soon, and you may find that instead of benefiting, you are incurring heavy cost on cloud, and that you did not expect, right? So these are some of the best practices when you are starting. So better to start at the beginning itself. All these practices follow a gradual approach, right? During phase one, try to set up the best practices, try to set up automation, migrate some of the lightweight or low user heavy applications, learn from there and apply into second phases. This phase may be the fastest one when you are using the modern tech and very fast with all the automation tools, but never in one go, right? It's not recommended. You can opt for, I mean, it's totally disruptive if something is there, but that will obviously be more disruptive to your applications. You will have to define for downtime, your user experience will be hampered. So this is the approach that we should apply, right? So with this I would like to thank you and just summarize that what we have seen. What we saw is we saw about regions, right? When then we saw about the application assessment that we need to do, identify which applications to be deployed. Then we saw that it has to be a gradual effort, right? Not in one go. So the major learning from this is when you are planning for your cloud migration, keep these things in mind, and this will be a seamless cloud migration for you. Thank you. Keep learning.